The U.S. Constitution provides for taxes to be collected from its people for the aid of its people. But what happens when the government collects more than citizens deem fair? And what happens when our government spends more than it collects? These concerns are vital signs for our nation and have existed since the days of the 13 original colonies. But our wildly increasing national debt has brought questions like this to the forefront of today's national discussion. A pattern of deficit spending, including significant amounts of waste and fraud, has left the United States with a $27 trillion national debt. Americans are wondering, how did the United States get into this position? Is it a threat? And how do we get out from under it? A 2019 congressional report showed more than $230 billion of taxpayer money going to programs and projects considered by many to be wasteful and unnecessary. Even the recent coronavirus financial relief program experienced administrative errors and potential fraud totaling more than $1.6 billion. This begs the question, is government debt necessary? As individuals, we make debt a part of our regular lives. We borrow money for car loans, student tuition loans, home loans, and credit card purchases. So should we expect our government to operate debt-free? Our founding fathers were focused on not overspending and were concerned that runaway national debt would lead to higher taxes on future generations.
There are two ways to conquer and enslave a nation. One is by sword, the other is by debt. John Adams, 1826.
One only need to look at the events preceding the American Revolution to understand the keen insights our founding fathers had regarding the dangers of excessive debt and taxation. Our country's economic system is facing increased scrutiny by those who would have us adopt socialist policies that guarantee basic needs like health care, education, food, clothing, and shelter. Opponents argue that more government control inevitably leads to a scarcity of goods and services, a breakdown in society, and a loss of freedom, including freedom of religion. The Bible has much to say about finances. Proverbs 22:7 cautions us about the wealth gap and the subject of debt.
The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender.
This simple yet poignant verse resonates for so many Americans and for our country as a whole. With this in mind, here are 5 prayer points to guide you as you consider the vital signs of government spending. Pray for wisdom for our government leaders in dealing with the budget, taxes, spending, debt, and social programs. Pray for clarity, wisdom, and unity for the nation as a whole when it comes to capitalism versus socialism. Pray for economic as well as physical healing from the effects of the COVID-19 virus. Pray for God-given solutions to poverty, homelessness, drug abuse, and crime in the United States. Pray for better economic education in homes and schools. And pray for our religious freedom to remain intact as the government adopts various economic policies. For additional guidance on how to pray the vote during this election season, access our free prayer resources online at praythevote.org.